Hi, Ghost Recaps here. Today we will be going through an action, adventure, and sci-fi movie from 2023. Named, 65. There will be spoilers ahead in this video, so chill out and enjoy. Before the emergence of mankind, other alien races were already exploring the rest of the universe in the vastness of space. On the planet Samaris, Mills is watching his daughter Nevin play on the beach with his wife Alya. Mills tells Alya that he accepted a 2-year exploration job, though he has never been on such a long trip before. But his daughter is sick and he needs more money to treat her, so for this campaign, Mills will earn 3 times his normal salary. Some time later, a spaceship is traveling in distant space. All the passengers are in cryogenic-induced sleep, and only Mills is awake as the pilot of the ship. During the journey, his spaceship collides with a cluster of asteroids, and begins to break in two. Mills rushes to the cockpit and sends an emergency signal, guiding the ship to land on the nearest planet. The ship crashes on an unknown planet, and Mills thinks about his daughter before fainting. Minutes later, Mills wakes up to find himself on an unknown planet. After healing his wounds, he dons the suit and exits the ship to inspect. He finds all the bodies of his crew in the water, where we can see a mysterious creature swimming around him. After inspecting the place, he discovers that the escape pod is in the other half, which has landed somewhere else. Mills sends another message saying that he has crashed on an unknown planet, all the passengers have been killed, and he needs help. For a moment, he even thinks of committing suicide, but his memories of his daughter stop him. He comes back to the ship, where he discovers a working capsule nearby. He goes out to investigate and finds a girl named Koa alive in the pod. He immediately takes her out. On his way back to the ship, Mills sees a giant claw mark on the ground, revealing that the planet is Earth from 65 million years ago, meaning he is about to encounter dangerous prehistoric creatures. The next morning, he uses the ship's computer to find the other half of the ship, but the scan does not detect it. Later, Mills goes out to explore the area and discovers large bones that indicate how dangerous the local predators are. He is also accidentally killed by a hot geyser explosion, which he had never seen before. He sees something glowing in the distance, and when he scans through a device, he finds that the other part of the ship has fallen on the top of a mountain 15 kilometers away from their location. If they have to get out of this planet, they have to reach that mountain because there is a working escape shuttle in that part of the ship. Then he is suddenly attacked by a small dinosaur. After some struggle with the creature, Mills pushes him to the ground and hits him with his gun until he dies. More sounds are coming from the forest, and when Mills goes to investigate, he discovers that the planet is home to dangerous and aggressive alien creatures. He tries to explain the situation to Koa, but it turns out that they cannot understand each other's language, and the ship's translator is not working. He spreads red powder on a table and tries to convince Koa that they have to reach the mountain. To encourage Koa to follow him, Mills lied about his family being on top of the mountain when, in fact, they were killed in the crash. After taking some supplies and weapons to protect herself, Mills tells Koa that the journey is too dangerous, so keep quiet, and the two leave the ship and begin walking through the woods. Eventually Koa gets bored of walking and grabs some berries from a bush to throw at him to annoy Mills. An annoyed Mills uses the scanner and says that the berries are poisonous and that Koa shouldn't mess with them. Later, when they hear some sounds from one direction, it turns out that a small dinosaur is trapped in a pit of sticky matter. Koa rushes to help him, which Mills considers very dangerous. Since she won't listen, Mills helps her finish quickly. The little creature walks away as soon as it is free, but after a few steps, it is attacked by a group of hunters who quickly kill it. Mills drags Koa to a hiding place. After the dinosaur is gone, the two continue their journey. He stops at a waterfall to rest for a while. Later, when the scanner loses the location of the mountain, Mills decides to climb a tree and scan the area again for a better view. Suddenly he finds a worm on his hand and shakes his arm to take it off, but this movement causes the branch to break, and Mills falls. A group of dinosaurs hear the noise and begin to approach him. To the rescue, Mills immediately grabs a gun to shoot at the creatures. He tells Koa to run away, and trying to stop the dinosaurs, he activates some small bombs that quickly get rid of half of the dinosaurs. Meanwhile, a flock of flying dinosaurs approaches the Koa, so she begins to crawl to hide behind a tree. Unfortunately, the earlier animals find her, and when they are about to jump on her, Mills appears and kills them all. After walking all day, it was now evening, and the two decided to spend the night in a cave. Mills installs some sensors that will warn him of the potential danger and uses his scanner to look at the sky, which finally reveals to him that the meteorite is nearby. Although it is small, he does not worry. Koa suddenly distracts him by telling him that she has brought a tape of Nevin with her, which at first angers Mills, but he later plays it. Here we learn that as usual, when Mills was on a mission, Alya contacted him and told him that Nevin had died in the hospital. Nevin's memories still do not let him sleep at night, which makes him cry. At night, Mills is awakened by sensors warning him of the impending danger. When he examines the koa, he realizes that an insect has entered his mouth and is suffocating him. He immediately pulls it out. The sensors indicate that the unknown thing has now come to them, and at that moment, a huge dinosaur appears outside the cave. Mills shoots it and escapes through a small hole in the back of the cave. The two immediately began to look for a way out, both walking through the cave to a place where there was no further way out. Mills finds a small space between two rocks and tries to excavate it to make it bigger, but after a few hours, he realizes it's impossible to excavate. Mills suddenly has an idea. He uses a few bombs to make the hole big enough, then gives Koa the rest of the bombs to keep safe and sends her into the hole to search for them. Koa crawls through the narrow hole and confirms that there is enough space on the other side, so Mills tries to follow her. Unfortunately, the hole suddenly collapses, and Mills screams in frustration when he loses contact with the koa. Just then, Mills hears the dinosaurs approaching. He grabs his gun and returns to the previous cave, where he uses his scanner to find out where the dinosaurs are. But the dinosaur tries to attack him from behind. The animal grabs Mills and bites him on the hand, but Mills manages to reach his scanner and activates a screaming sound that distracts the animal. Mills pulls out his gun and kills the animal. Meanwhile, the crow comes out of the cave. She searches the forest alone and finds a huge dinosaur tooth in the forest, which is also very sharp, which she applies poisonous berries on him to use as a weapon. Minutes later, Mills manages to climb out of the cave and sees a huge meteor coming towards Earth. He uses his scanner and realizes that a huge meteorite is about to hit the Earth, which will start a catastrophic extinction event. Koa is attacked by a raptor-like creature, which she traps in a fallen tree stump. Mills hears her scream and rushes to save her, but he falls into a swamp pit. He tries to call Koa for help, but he slowly drowns. Koa hears Mills' voice and uses the bombs that Mills gave her to kill the dinosaurs. After the animal dies, the koa safely reaches the swamp, and uses a tree branch to pull Mills out of the pit. After meeting each other again, Mills embraces Koa, tells Koa about the meteorite, and tells her that we will have to leave the planet soon. By nightfall, the two finally reach the foot of the mountain. Koa goes up and ties the rope to a tree and throws the other end of the rope down, causing Mills to reach the top with the help of the rope. Shortly after they find the other half of the ship, Mills immediately turns on the computer to confirm that a rescue ship is coming for them. Koa goes in search of her family and eventually finds all the destroyed cryotanks, so she becomes angry with Mills for lying and begins to cry. Mills pulls out a photo of Nevin and explains that he lost his daughter while he was on the job, which means he can't let it happen again now. A crying Koa embraces Mills and apologizes for everything. Suddenly, small pieces of the meteorite begin to fall to Earth, so Mills and Koa rush to get inside the emergency pod. When Mills is about to press the launch button, a piece of the meteorite hits the ship and drops the pod down the mountain. Koa wakes up first and quickly presses the launch button, but the computer tells him it can't launch because it's in the wrong position and upside down. As soon as Mills wakes up, a giant dinosaur arrives and starts attacking the pod. Since the gun fell to the ground, Mills has to risk dropping the pod to retrieve it, while a second dinosaur joins the attack, although the gun was not charged, and he has to hide inside the shell of his ship. Koa takes the T-Rex away from Mills using a video of Nevin. Mills uses the distraction to shoot one of the T-Rex, but the other understands the ruse and attacks Koa. Mills shoots at him with his gun until he dies. But the same creature they had previously wounded in the cave, which turned out to be a giant quadrupedal theropod, also attacked. Mills tells Koa to leave the ship, and he flees. Mills succeeds in leading her to a large geyser, while Koa stabs her in the eye with a large dinosaur tooth, which she had previously wrapped in berry venom. Later, Mills and Koa return to the pod, the pair escaping just in time as the asteroid hits Earth, causing a cataclysmic event and the extinction of the dinosaurs. The pod is ready to meet a rescue ship. They both close their eyes, noticing that he is now out of danger. This is Ghost Recaps Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.